This is a production of WTVI PBS Charlotte. Tonight on Carolina Impact, statistics show more than 34% of adults and 21% of teens in the U.S. struggle with obesity.
Because I didn't know that I was that much overweight.
And ignoring a few extra pounds over time sets you up for a myriad of medical problems.
428 pounds.
I was morbidly obese. I just got to where I couldn't even breathe.
Tonight, we give you the tools to beat obesity. Learning your BMI and making necessary changes can put you on track to better health. When all else fails, these days many turn to bariatric surgery.
This is not cosmetic surgery. This surgery is for medical necessity.
When I was heavy, when I was at home, I always sit and be depressed and frustrated because I couldn't get the weight off.
We'll hear some inspiring success stories.
It is something that can change your life forever, but you have to be ready.
We'll also meet some seniors sharing their secrets to staying in shape that can help us all enjoy our golden years. Tonight on Carolina Impact. Funding for tonight's special is brought to you by Novant Health.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Amy Burkett. Tonight we share tips to help you beat obesity. It creeps up on us. 10 pounds after college, another 10 pounds often hang around after pregnancies, and then you hit middle age, and even more fat finds a way into our lives. And it seems we can't get rid of it the way we used to when we were younger. I think we all know that what we eat plays a major role in health problems. Yet we run through those fast food restaurants and grab that afternoon soothing piece of chocolate anyway. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, within the last 2 decades, there's been a dramatic increase in obesity in the United States. The average amount is about 23 pounds overweight. Doctors can tell if you're overweight simply by looking at a single number, called your BMI, or body mass index. While you may be familiar with the phrase, here's something you might not know about. A high BMI can put you at risk for developing health problems with long-term consequences. Carolina Impact's Danielle Kozer tells us more.
Going to the gym hasn't always been a priority for 13-year-old Marlon Clark. Now it's not unusual to find him here, shooting hoops and hitting the treadmill. But if you spotted Clark at the YMCA a year and a half ago, you probably wouldn't have recognized him.
I didn't know that I was that much overweight.
Dr. Ann Walker has been monitoring Clark's weight since he was a baby.
You can see here's birth to 20 years old.
When Clark turned 2, she also started tracking his BMI, or body mass index. According to the National Institutes of Health, BMI is a measure of body fat based on height and weight.
It's how your height and weight match up with one another.
And here's why it's important. BMI is an easy and inexpensive way for doctors to see if patients are overweight or obese. An unhealthy weight can increase your risk for developing conditions like hypertension, coronary heart disease, stroke, liver and gallbladder disease, sleep apnea, osteoarthritis, and gynecological problems. The list doesn't stop there.
Orthopedic problems like a bad back or knee problems. Diabetes certainly is linked to it. Heart disease is partially linked to our weight.
Some cancers like endometrial, breast, and colon are also linked to obesity. Doctors use this chart to calculate BMI for children and adults, but BMI is interpreted a bit differently for each group. Adults ages 20 and older can interpret BMI using standard weight categories that are the same for men and women. For example, a BMI between 18.5 and 24.9 falls in the normal range. A BMI between 25 and 29.9 means you're considered overweight, and a BMI above 30 puts you in the obese range. But for children and teens ages 2 through 19, age and gender play a role in interpreting BMI. Dr. Walker uses a growth chart to show the relationship between BMI and weight.
But many people depart the curve, and when I can show that convincingly, that's when people wake up.
Clark's wake-up call came in the summer of 2013. He weighed 160 pounds, putting his BMI at an unhealthy 31 on the chart.
And then now he's departing the curve.
That's when Clark decided to take action. After some pointers from Dr. Walker, he started looking for places in his diet to clip calories by consuming less sugar and drinking more water. He also started exercising more, doing things like sit-ups and push-ups.
It was kind of hard for me to do, and I didn't think I could do it, but I believed in myself and other people believed in me.
Through sweat, self-discipline, and determination, Clark dropped 32 pounds over a year and a half, improving his BMI to a mildly overweight 25.
This is a gentleman who has conquered the beginnings of a foundation for better eating the rest of his life.
59-year-old Jeffrey Williams didn't develop that foundation until much later in life. Like Clark, Williams struggled with his weight at a young age.
I'd always yo-yo. I would lose it and then I'd go celebrate.
But he was much older when he finally got his weight under control. At one point, he tipped the scales at 396 pounds.
I was morbidly obese.
With a BMI of 53.7, Williams took drastic measures to get the weight off, including surgery. He also started exercising and eating better.
I had 2 sons, and I wanted to be around for them to get married and be able to see my grandkids.
Since then, he's lost 181 pounds. He's come a long way.
These at one time would not even have fit me.
But he's still considered overweight, with a BMI of 29.2.
I'm wanting to get down under 200.
And to lose weight, you need to use more calories than you take in. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, people who lose about 1 to 2 pounds each week are more successful at keeping that weight off. 1 pound equals 3,500 calories, which means in order to lose about a pound a week, you need to cut about 500 calories each day.
Which is about a half a sandwich and a big sugared sports drink. The mathematics of it is fascinating to me. There's no magic.
No magic, just a lot of self-discipline. And that's a lesson you're never too young to learn.
For every one of those steps you make, if you make that over and over again, those are those little victories that turn into a big success.
Success that shows on the BMI chart, proving that knowing your number is often the first step to saving your life. Now with every step Clark and Williams take, they're reminded of the progress they've made and motivated by their commitment to maintain their new bodies and newfound health. For Carolina Impact, I'm Danielle Koser reporting.
Thanks so much, Danielle. Joining me now is Dr. Jacques Laguerre, a family medicine doctor with Novant Health Southern Piedmont Primary Care in Monroe. Thanks so much for being with us, Dr. Laguerre. We appreciate your time.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You know, when we watch that story and we see that young man conquering some bad habits early on, and you just see the comparison between the older gentleman, getting our handle on our weight earlier is better than later because, you know, I don't move as well as I do today as I did when I was a teen. What's the message for people watching tonight?
Well, first I want to say kudos to that young man and Dr. Walker. It's very inspiring when you're able to reach somebody at that young of an age. But it's critical to get to these kids before they develop bad habits and before those habits become health problems down the line.
And you can't do it overnight. But it's what so many people, whether we're young or not quite as young as we used to be, we often think if we diet and exercise for a week or two, it should go away, and people get discouraged when that's not the case. But you have one word that's the key to success.
Consistency. Consistency is absolutely the key to success. No matter what weight loss program you get involved in, being able to maintain whatever promise it is that you're making to yourself or to those around you from week to week, month to month, that's what's really going to get you to accomplish your goal.
And you know, it's time to out myself a little bit. When we started working on the show about 6 weeks ago, the executive producer, Jeff Rivenbark, and I went online and went to the Novant website to find the BMI calculator. What a great tool. Let's talk about that tool that anyone can take advantage of, because I think sometimes we try our best to just say, oh, we're okay. But when you put in your chart, your numbers, and you see the number that you're overweight, it doesn't lie, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's not a perfect or exact tool, but it's a very good barometer to help us know whether or not we're above where we should be and whether we're putting ourselves at risk because of our weight. So it gives us something to strive towards. So if your BMI is 35 and it should be 25, you know, that number is a good goal to try and get to.
So I confess to having a BMI of 27, and I'm supposed to be under 25, so I've got about 14 pounds to lose, but have done better just in the last 6 weeks of exercising, and I'm so surprised at how much more energy I have just from that 6 weeks of consistency. Now I don't dread going home at night and getting on the treadmill. I still have 14 pounds that I have to lose, but at least I'm energized by having more energy, and I can see progress being made.
And that's the thing, you don't have to lose a whole lot of weight to really get the benefits of weight loss from a healthcare standpoint or from just a mental good feeling standpoint. You know, as a matter of fact, there's a really good study that was done several years ago that shows even a 7% weight loss can really reduce your risk. It showed that people with an average BMI of about 35 reduce the risk or incidence of diabetes by about 58%. So it's remarkable how much just 7% can mean.
And we've also seen studies that show that losing the weight can take people who are diabetic and turn them into not being diabetic because of the weight loss. So there's so much great impact. Another thing that you said was really important was having accountability. Talk to us a little bit about what value that brings.
So one of the things that I stress to my patients when they embark on a weight loss program is getting family members involved, getting friends involved, making themselves accountable. The other thing that I encourage is that they get a diary, a calendar, a fitness app, and set their goals and try and reach those goals from week to week. And just having that accountability really makes them a whole lot more successful.
And there are so many apps out there today that even just counting your steps, you can be challenged if you have a day that you're a little more sedentary and you're like, oh no, I only did 5,000 steps today and I usually do 10,000. Right. That's a real motivator.
Right. And I think there's a sense of satisfaction too when you do reach, that 5,000 steps or whatever it is that you've set for yourself.
What's the final word that we can give to people to have them to push through because it's so worth the effort?
Well, I think for most of my patients, they do it for their families. They want to be around for their kids' graduations. They want to be around for their grandkids' weddings, walking their daughters down the aisle, that kind of thing. So you have to do it for the health benefit of it.
We're out of time, but thank you so much, Dr. Jacques Laguerre. We appreciate your information with Novant Health. So glad that you could join us today. Well, the solution to our weight problem sounds simple: diet and exercise. But those two little words pack a powerful punch, and some have tried every diet there is and still find themselves morbidly obese. Bariatric surgery offers dramatic results. Carolina Impact's Jeff Rivenbark introduces us to two people who pretty much gave up on losing weight until they heard about this surgery.
It's a chore many dread, but for Tom Bauer, a trip to the grocery store offers an opportunity to learn more about the foods he should and shouldn't eat. He's already learned a lot. A few years ago, he was a much heavier man.
428 pounds.
And carrying around that much weight made simple tasks more difficult.
I couldn't cross my legs. I had difficulty in tying my shoes. It'd bend over and I would gasp for breath when I came back up. I didn't believe I was big as I was.
In the movie The Matrix, actor Keanu Reeves dodges bullets. And Bauer says that's the way he felt, because he was dodging one health scare after another due to his weight. That's when he started looking into bariatric surgery.
This is not cosmetic surgery. This surgery is for medical necessity.
Dr. Carl Lowe says only those who are severe or morbid obese should have the procedure.
People who have the weight that we're talking about are usually 100 pounds overweight.
According to the National Institutes of Health, bariatric patients should have a BMI or body mass index of 40 or more. Bauer's BMI was more than 50.
There are exceptions for people who fall between 35 and 40. They may also qualify for surgery, but they have to have some other medical problem like high blood pressure, diabetes, sleep apnea, heart disease.
The benefits of bariatric surgery include more energy, greater self-esteem and self-confidence, enhanced mobility, and lowering one's chances of developing weight-related diseases including type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure, which can lead to death. There are risks such as leaks, bleeding, vitamin, mineral, or protein deficiency, blood clots, and in rare cases, death. Patients who qualify for the surgery must first meet with a nutritionist to learn how to eat properly, count calories, read food labels, and keep a food log.
They have to see a psychiatrist also to make sure that they are mentally ready for the lifestyle change that they're going to have after bariatric surgery.
You also have to discuss with a physician the best weight loss surgery for you. Bauer's physician recommended sleeve gastrectomy, more commonly called gastric sleeve. The procedure involves creating about 5 incisions on the abdomen. A device called a trocar is inserted into the incisions. Surgical instruments are then placed into the trocars to access the abdominal cavity. During sleeve gastrectomy, 85% of the stomach is removed, leaving a thin vertical sleeve shaped like a banana. This reduces the stomach to about 1/10 of its original size. You lose weight due to less food intake. When he started on this journey, Bauer weighed 428 pounds. In less than a year, he's lost 160. Surgery is just the first step to reaching a healthier weight. Regardless of the weather, you'll find Susie Ivy walking around Charlotte's Freedom Park at least 3 times a week.
When I'm out walking, I just tell myself, this is the new me, and I just need to just keep pushing forward.
Before having bariatric surgery, she remembers spending lots of time at home alone.
When I was heavy, I always sit and be depressed and frustrated because I couldn't get the weight off, and I wouldn't go anywhere.
At 280 pounds, her weight led to a variety of health issues.
I ended up having a mini stroke, I ended up having a heart attack, and when I went back to my family physician, he said, no more of those fake diets. I want you to go home and think about the gastro bypass surgery.
That was 5 years ago, and today, Ivy's doctor couldn't be more proud of her.
I said, what is your secret? Tell me how you're able to achieve this long-term success so I can bottle it up and give it to everyone. She said, well, Dr. Lowe, you operated on me here, but until I got it in my heart and in my mind, nothing was going to matter.
Ivy turned 62 this year, and she's amazed by how great she feels.
I'm healthy. I don't have sleep apnea anymore. I don't have shortness of breath anymore. I sleep better at night. I'm just a different person.
In addition to becoming more physically active, bariatric patients also have to commit to changing their eating habits for life.
Thank you. What I look at is the amount of protein. If it doesn't have protein in it, more than likely I won't eat it. Then I look at the carbohydrates and I look at the sugars. And so consequently, I'm looking at the label a lot more than I had in the past. And so my focus is much more on the vegetable aisle, lean proteins, and in the yogurts.
If you're severely obese, Bauer recommends talking with your doctor about bariatric surgery.
It is something that can change your life forever, but you have to be ready. This is not the easy fix. This takes a lot of commitment, it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of stamina, but it also works.
You got to have that mindset that that's what you need to do. That's what I need to do, and you need to stay focused on it. Just don't give up, because you can do it. I did it, you can do it.
Both Ivy and Bauer realize long-term success now depends on the decisions they make daily regarding their eating habits and physical activity. For Carolina Impact, I'm Jeff Rivenbark reporting.
Thanks so much, Jeff. Joining me now is Dr. David Vollinger. He's bariatric surgeon and medical director of the Novant Health Bariatric Center. Dr. Vollinger, thank you so much for your time.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
Amazing results. This isn't for everyone. It's not the first thing you want to try. It's often the last.
That's exactly right. Surgery is the most successful way to lose weight. But it's also surgery, and there's always risk involved. So the way we look at surgery is a tool to help those folks who really can't lose it with non-surgical methods. They try every diet, they try the medications, their BMI is over 40, they have medical problems, high blood pressure, diabetes, sleep apnea. They need something, and surgery is a tool that'll make them successful. If you compare surgical management to non-surgical management in a patient that has a BMI over 40, surgery is about 80% successful versus 20% for not having surgery. So it's a dramatic difference.
Now, we talked about the sleeve surgery, but there are 3 different types of bariatric surgery that people can choose from. Can you give us kind of just a basic overview and
Sure.
how we decide which one's right for us?
Happy to. There's really 3 basic types we're doing now. The most popular now is the sleeve gastrectomy. The sleeve gastrectomy is kind of using my hands, but the stomach is a bag, and we basically take the bag to a banana or a tube. taking out a significant amount of your stomach. You lose weight because you're eating less, and we're taking out some of the hunger factors. The more complicated surgery that Miss Ivy had, Tom had a sleeve, Miss Ivy had a gastric bypass. And a gastric bypass, we make a small pouch, but we also bypass the intestines. The food is not going the same way, so you don't absorb as much. More weight loss, but more risk. And then the third thing we're doing, well, less often now, but we still do it occasionally, is a surgery called the lap band. We actually take a plastic adjustable band, place it around the top part of the stomach to decrease your portion size.
And how fast do we see some of the dramatic results that are so popular?
Sure. Most of folks start losing weight immediately. They're on special diets. They're losing weight because of their immediate change in the amount they can eat. But ultimately, it's about 6 months, 12 months. Most of these surgeries, you actually lose weight for a year to a year and a half.
And it's really important, though. You can't just rely on the surgery, because if you eat the way you ate before, there are some potentially strong complications that can show up. Plus, you won't have the results that you're looking for.
Amy, that's crucial. The most important thing to understand about surgery, and this is what we believe at the Novant Health Bariatric Center, is that the surgery is only a tool, right? It's the patient changing their lifestyle, eating better, moving more, changing behavior. Those are the things that are going to make the difference in the long run. It's not changing your anatomy, it's changing your head.
And that's often what got people in the trouble, when you have that sort of emotional attraction to food, which is never the answer.
Exactly. So we have changed through the years, right? We're not eating because we're hungry. We're eating because we're bored, we're tired, we're lonely, we need a reward. So there's a huge psychological component, and surgery doesn't change that, but it allows you to get over those hurdles by allowing you to control portions and hunger better.
Let's help people understand there are some risks. And what should they be aware of when making a consideration for this?
Very important to understand, surgery does have risk. Fortunately, over the years, 10, 20 years that we've been developing these bariatric surgeries, the risk is about like getting your gallbladder out. It's very low. It's a much more common surgery, but the most short-term risk are things like you can have severe bleeding. You can have a leak or a perforation to your surgery. You can have a blood clot. So those are some real immediate short-term things that you need to be on the lookout for, and that we help prepare you and give you methods to avoid those. Long term, you're thinking mostly about vitamin, mineral, and protein deficiency. It's crucial not only to eat a healthy diet, but to take vitamin supplements to help supplement that diet.
Before we want to run out of time, I want to give you a chance to help people understand, what do you see as the most critical piece of information that might be sometimes misunderstood when it comes to bariatric surgery?
I think that surgery is magic, right? It is not a magic bullet. It takes you have to make the lifestyle change for surgery to work long term. You may get some immediate short-term benefits, but long term it's about changing the diet, exercising more, changing the behavior, and that's what we believe at Novant Health.
Dr. David Vollinger, bariatric surgeon and medical director of the Novant Health Bariatric Center. We appreciate your information. Thank you so much.
Happy to do it. Thank you.
Well, by the way, look for these stories on our website at pbscharlotte.org. There, you'll find a link to additional information regarding bariatric surgery. Finally this evening, we meet some seniors who know the secret to enjoying a healthy, happy retirement. Like most folks their age, these seniors have their fair share of issues, but they're doing something about them. And, as we can too, we can learn from this story, and Carolina Impact's Jeff Rivenbark explains these active seniors are determined to enjoy their golden years, and in order to do that, they hit the gym regularly. For them, discipline is the key, and for us too.
After a 33-year career in the banking industry, Carrie Parker traded in her calculator and computer for a flour sifter and a mixer. While she enjoys baking cranberry bread and other baked goods for her family, Parker knows eating all of these goodies isn't good for her health. If she's not working in the kitchen, she's likely working out at the Betty Ray Thomas Recreation Center in West Charlotte.
I love my walking routine. I complete 40 laps per day. I come 5 days a week.
Parker is one of many senior adults taking part in a program called Feeling Alive After 55. The program encourages seniors 55 and older to become more active.
I want to make sure that I'm healthy.
Since joining the program, Parker's health has drastically improved. She's even been able to stop taking cholesterol medication.
I was having a little problem with my diabetes, and my A1C has dropped since I've started walking it.
And the seniors here have their fair share of ailments.
If I'm in pain when I wake up in the morning, and you know at my age we may be in pain, I'll come to the gym, and once I start walking, once I start that routine, I forget about the pain.
Learning how to ease their pain or prevent it through exercise and weight management could help them be healthier during their golden years. Finding the motivation to get out here on the hardwood ain't easy.
Lap 1, I'm thinking about, oh Lord, I got a long way to go. But then by the time I reach 5 laps, it seems like it just gets easier and easier.
When she's done walking, her workout is just starting.
I go over to the weight room and I'll do at least 5 machines where I'll work on my biceps and work on my legs and try to strengthen everything.
Over in the weight room is where we find Pinson Davis Jr.
Physically, I feel 100% better, but that's why I come every day.
He looks really fit for a 75-year-old, but even Davis admits a year ago he wasn't doing so good. For years, he worked as a city bus driver, and he developed a bit of a bulge from all that sitting. When he retired, he was moving even less, and that's when bad habits formed.
When I first retired, I was eating more than I should, laying around.
Tipping the scales at 275 pounds and also dealing with type 2 diabetes, Davis says his wife challenged him to make some lifestyle changes.
She the one was on me about my weight. So, you know, I got that down, I feel much better.
Just get started. It's never too late to start. I think it's always too late if you don't start. Get a partner to have somebody to go along the journey, to hold you accountable, have fun. And then 3, just be consistent. I think that's one of the hardest things, just being consistent.
Davis says the time he spends here pays off.
I move faster, my blood pressure went down, my sugar went down. I sleep better, I get around better, I don't get tired as much. I'm surprised myself about my age and the condition I am.
Exhale up. Being active, your posture changes, your confidence changes, and that's where I think you're more aware that, hey, this is why I was created for. I need to move. Have a fun fitness activity and create that habit, lifelong habit.
If you're 55 or older and have never been to a gym or recreation center, it's never too late to start. And it's okay to start slow.
When you start something new, you get a little tired at first, but you keep doing it, it come easy.
Back on the gym floor, Parker is in her own little world.
I just listen to the music and enjoy the walk as I go.
Counting off each lap with a set of beads she holds in her hand.
I would encourage anybody to give it a try because I just feel so good since I started.
Parker believes the more she pushes herself out here,
I'm hopeful that I'll be here another 15 years on top of the 15 that I already have.
Will allow her to continue baking, traveling, and enjoying her retirement for many years to come. For Carolina Impact, I'm Jeff Rivenbark reporting.
Thanks so much, Jeff. You can call the Recreation Center in your area to see if they have a similar program. We hope this evening's information has encouraged you to take charge and beat the battle of the bulge. It's important to remember this may take a while. We didn't get chubby overnight, and we won't improve our health overnight either. We need to stay committed to moving more and making better food choices. Others have done it, and we can too. From the entire team here at your public television station, WTVI PBS Charlotte, thanks so much for joining us. And we hope to see you back here again next time on Carolina Impact. Good night.
Funding for tonight's special is brought to you by Novant Health. A production of WTVI PBS Charlotte.